Good afternoon, everybody. This is Dr. Serge again, and welcome to another episode of Search for the Truth. And our goal is to empower people with knowledge and information for you guys taking charge of your health and get better. Because there's way to improve our health, and there's always some hope to address what's wrong with your body. So today I'm excited again to have Mr. Tim with us. Welcome back to the show.
Dr. Serge, thanks for having me back on the show. I really appreciate it.
So you're welcome. Thank you for taking the time to joining us. And if you guys have any questions for Tim, let us know in the chat section so we can go to your question as we go. So again, can you tell us a bit about yourself? Because you were on the show a few weeks ago, and you have a really powerful testimony that brings hope and encouragement to people who are dealing with chronic issues. Can you tell us a bit about why you're doing what you do and why you're so passionate to help people?
Well, it kind of goes to my backstory, which I'll do the shortened version. People that want to hear the full version can go back to the other episode. But, I was just I was a working class individual, that's it. And I was going along with society, and I was on the standard American diet or standard Canadian diet, whatever you want to call it, standard food they're giving us. And but luckily for me, I grew up on a farm, and I was in nature a lot. We had a big garden, all that kind of stuff. And after a while, I just realized that it wasn't working for me. At age 37, I went from being an athlete to being 42 pounds overweight, very tired, fatigued, no mental clarity. I'd stopped exercising except for walking my dogs. Then I developed a skin issue on my back shoulder, and then my knee started getting eczema. And that grew and got worse and worse and worse. Then my elbows got eczema, and these three areas were cracking and bleeding. And then I had acid reflux. I was eating Tums and Rolaids, and then gas and bloating and all this stuff. And then it got worse. I started bleeding rectally when I go number 2. And this went on for 2.5 years. You saw me probably in the other show. I had on that shirt that says "Love when you poop," and that's because it used to be a very painful process for me, and I didn't enjoy going to the bathroom. And it should be an enjoyable process, and it wasn't. So with that, I had a friend that got diagnosed with cancer, which led me to the Hippocrates Health Institute in West Palm Beach, Florida. It's a 60-some-year-old at the time detox and nutrition clinic. I would have never went there except for to help my friend. And after going there, I learned about detoxing and nutrition and cleaning up my gut and cleaning up my diet and cleaning up my cells and cleaning up my fat and my muscle tissue and getting these toxic heavy metals and radiation and pollution and pesticides and fungicides and herbicides and paint off gassing. And I didn't even know it, dude. It's like, like in carpet is off gassing, like it's made out of plastic. It's made out of crude oil and it off gases formaldehyde. Think about that. I've been crawling around on carpet with my kids for years, and it's just, we don't think about this stuff because you can't see it, because these chemicals are so microscopic. But again, I think I talked about it last time. All you have to do is type into your browser 3 words: umbilical cord and chemical. And you can see those studies going back to 2005 that show that scientists and doctors are finding well over 180 chemicals that cause cancer in the umbilical cord blood of newborn babies, young mothers. So we're already polluted. They look for 400 chemicals, they find 250, and 180 of those cause cancer. 212 cause developmental brain disorders. So we are literally polluted, and the older you are, the more time you've had to bioaccumulate these toxins in your blood, fat, and muscle tissue. And these are a body burden. They're literally destroying our immune system, tearing down the walls of the immune system so that the invaders can come in and get us. And that's what's happening as a population. We're actually de-evolving as a species, and these toxic chemicals are a problem. And my mission over here at chemicalfreebody.com is to bring awareness to these toxic invaders, provide solutions, show people how to stop putting them in, how to get them out, and then to also start flooding their body with nature and plug the body back into nature to heal yourself. And that's what we've been doing over here personally for a long time myself. And I was able to heal myself of all my health issues. And my friend who got cancer that got me to go to that clinic, he healed himself of chronic lymphocytic leukemia, which is supposedly an incurable blood cancer with no chemo, radiation, or surgery. So, and here I am today, 11 years later, doing talks all the time, educational lectures, radio, podcasts, just trying to get this information out to people. And then we provide solutions through our formulas with Dr. Scott Treadway, our formula that we have on staff, to, basically make, like, a clinic in a box, so you can get the process started very easily in your home. And we ship all over the world, and it's kind of crazy. I went from a financial advisor that was, overweight and struggling health wise to, now I'm kind of a health advisor that's, I feel good, and I'm looking to continue to feel better and learn more stuff and whatever I can do to improve my health, and then share it with our community.
Well, your testimony and your friend's testimony is so powerful, because he had a disease that the medical community didn't know how to address, and he cured himself with nutrition. Unbelievable. So do you feel that toxins is the main driver or the main cause of these chronic issues that it seems that most people have these days?
Well, I think it's definitely a major contributing factor. I would also throw stress up there as an equivalent. And I would also throw up there a lack of nutrition, because 85% of the soil has been farmed out. People are running around on 15% fuel, and they don't even know about it. So imagine putting 15% octane in your car and driving that,
Yeah.
and your car takes, 100% octane, right? And you're like, oh, well, instead of taking it out of this gas hose, I can take the 15%, I can get the 100% octane and put that in my car. And then your car actually gives you, 85% more power. It runs better. It has less breakdowns. It can get you up the hill. It won't leave you stranded. You can get there faster, and it's a lot more fun, more of an enjoyable ride. And that's the same thing with the human body. We're literally on 15% fuel. So we have a very huge disconnect from our bodies, which are a natural system.
Yep.
That should be in the ecosystem. That's a natural system. So we're just disconnected, and I think it's been done like that by design, and we just need to reconnect. So let's go over this. Number one, chemical toxicity, huge body burden on a chemical level and on a cellular level, dragging down the immune system. We have tremendous amount of stress today, dragging down the immune system. It's huge. And then number three would be, people are totally deficient and living in at 15% octane. And I guess another thing that we really need to focus on that kind of encompasses both of those is like the air that we're breathing. The air today is pretty polluted. And if you're taking 20,000 breaths a day, you want to make sure you get your air right. That's why we teach cracking your windows at night when you're sleeping, because the houses are very polluted, and get an air purification system.
Yeah.
What happens to really old folks when they have low oxygen? They got to get an oxygen tank. That's how important oxygen is. It's our number one nutrient. So you want to get your air clean, and I think you need to purify your water today too. So just some of the basic components. We just want to make sure they're clean air, clean water, clean food, and let's just throw in clean elections for fun.
that would help the stress level for sure.
then we if we had clean elections, we would probably have clean air, clean water, and clean food.
That's a very good point. Let's not get too political today, but you're touching really basic foundations here for health, food, and water. So what water do you recommend specifically?
Well, just, number one, there's just so much pollution today, right? So 1,500 miles. It's like, dude, like right now I'm looking outside, and I can see deer everywhere eating. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can see 7 deer right now feeding, 8 deer. They're all over the place. They're out in nature. They're eating wild foods. They're eating, they're drinking, clean water. So the problem is, though, is like 1,500 miles into the interior, the scientists have found both male, the 2 to 2.5 inch fish have both male and female organs today. They're literally turning into hermaphrodites. This is because of the estrogen mimickers from plastics are so pervasive today. So these estrogen mimickers, what they do is they actually disrupt our hormones, and our hormones are the communication system in our body. So if our body can't communicate, it's almost like the thyroid says, go do this, cell, or go do that. And when you have all these chemicals from these plastics in your body, from breathing them in off carpet or paint off gassing, or from, glyphosate, which is over 70% of the rainwater, and drinking out of plastic bottles, then it's like, wah, 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 wah.
Yeah.
And it's like, and the cells are like, I don't know what to do because the instructions are not clear, right? So it's a huge, huge problem. So today we have to purify our water. Right? We have to purify our water. It's bad. Like, we have the Great Pacific Garbage Patch off the Pacific coast. It's the size of Texas. It's almost like a landmass full of plastic. Ships have to plot courses around it. On beaches in Mexico, there's beaches that are half sand, half plastic sand. Watch the documentary Tapped, Tapped, Tapped,
Yeah.
and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's the plastic thing, guys, is so bad, and it's so stupid too, because back like when Henry Ford made the first car, he actually made a car made out of soy. Right now, this is before genetically modified soy, so we could just take soy in its natural state, not GMO'd. And he's like, look at these panels, and they were hitting them with sledgehammers, and you couldn't even break them. Like, so we don't even need, there's, and then they were making gun turrets on ships, like the big destroyer ships. They
Yeah.
were making those out of soy. So we could actually be making stuff out of soy, or that's not GMO, or corn, or plants that would then eventually break down and not cause all these estrogen mimicking
Yeah.
problems.
Yeah.
But it's cheaper to make it in the lab and make it chemical. But we're paying the price now. Look at cancer rates;
Yeah.
they're through the roof. All these problems, right?
Yeah.
So we have to get our water clean. That's number one. You have to purify your water. That's either reverse osmosis, distillation, or deionization. And I believe that after that process, it's a good idea after you drink your water to throw a little Himalayan salt under your tongue to
Yeah.
put some minerals back in, and it helps absorption of the water itself. Number two, if you live in the city, this is very important. City tap water goes through high pressure pipes. High pressure pipes will coagulate those water molecules and make them big. So instead of a 4 or 5 cluster in nature, there'll be 20, 25 in a cluster. And they're like bowling balls trying to go through a chain link fence. The bowling ball, the water molecule, the chain link fence, your intestinal lining. And if it can't get through the intestinal line to get into the bloodstream, it's not going to get into the cell or into the lymphatic system, which is the garbage removal system, and into your brain. Not having enough water in your system is the difference between finding your keys or hunting around in your house for your keys for 10, 15 minutes. You literally lower your IQ when you don't have enough water. Okay.
Mhm.
It's very important. And if you don't have enough water, the first place your body goes for it is where? It's the colon. And then when your body's draining the colon of the necessary water that it needs all the time, the colon becomes dry and becomes impacted. And that's why the average person is carrying around 6 to 12 pounds of impacted fecal material in the colon, because it's being used for the brain, the cardiovascular, and the
Yeah.
lymphatic system. So we need to put lots of water in our body, but it needs to be clean water, and it needs to be restructured if that water is going through city high pressure pipes, because otherwise you can't really absorb it that well. You'll drink a lot, you'll pee it all out, but it doesn't get into the system to do what it needs to do.
That's a really good point here, because I hate people all the time saying that I drink enough water and I drink lots of water, but I feel dehydrated all the time. So the water doesn't get into the cells.
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem.
Yeah,
Uh,
and if they want to, because I had a gal that set me up right on this. Her name's Danusha, and I used to give out her email, but nobody can spell Danusha, and we get a gazillion emails. So, how do you spell Danusha at our support system? So, we actually created a landing page. So, if anybody wants to get their water right, you can just go to it's mypurifiedwater.com. That's mypurifiedwater.com, and you can
okay.
book a free consult with Danusha to get your water right.
Okay.
Just
Thank
like I
you for
did.
that.
You're welcome.
So you mentioned a few minutes ago that our soil that we've been farming our foods on is depleted, right? The
Mm-hmm.
minerals, the trace minerals, the way we've been using chemicals and all that stuff depleted our soil. And that's maybe one reason we are deficient over time. Because I hear people often telling me that I eat organic foods and I eat so clean, but there's still deficiencies in the body.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Well,
that shows that we need to supplement our diet with
mhm.
some good quality supplements.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you when I left Hippocrates Health Institute, being, from Eastern Oregon, grew up on a farm, I was like, I don't need, because they were pushing supplements there. And the only ones I got were digestive enzymes because they kind of made sense. I went to this class on it. I'm like, I can do this with whole food. That was my ego talking. So about 2 years later, I was reading something and it talked about the deficiency in soils today. And that's when I learned that 85% of the nutrients are farmed out of the soil. So for
Yeah.
those of you like me that switched over to more organic, non-GMO type healthier foods, guess what happened? You're still only on 15% octane,
Hmm.
right? Because if it's not in the soil, it's not in the plant, or it's not in the plant or the animal that ate the plant, if you're eating meat. So we have to supplement today. It's not a luxury, it's a necessity today because of the over farming. Now, it goes even deeper. We grew up on a farm. We have discs and tills and tractors, and we would plow the fields and plant and do that kind of stuff. But the reality is that we have to get away from that. We need to go back to permaculture where we don't till the soil. And the reason why is, and it's not that farmers are bad, we just didn't know any better. Like, that's what we used to do. And we're good, decent people, but we didn't know. We're just doing what we're told to do, what everybody else is doing. When you till the soil, you are disrupting the soil microbiome, the bacteria in the soil. There's a whole ecosystem going down in the soil that we can't even see. Again, it's no-see-em stuff, right? You till it up, you can't see this microbiome. They're too small, but there's bazillions of them down there. And what they're doing is they're actually transporting nutrients in through the root system of a plant. It's a system. It's a very delicate system that works together perfectly. This is why there's so many magnesium deficiencies, and everybody's trying to figure out how to get magnesium. And that's the only way we figured out today is through foot soaks. That's the only way to get red blood cell full saturation levels on magnesium is through these foot soaks. But if you till the soil, you're wiping out most of the bacteria. So, you can't, even if there was nutrients there, you can't really get them into the root system that well, right? So it's not just that the soil is deficient, but you're killing through tilling. I think I just got a book title right there. Killing through tilling the bacteria in the soil, right? So it's huge. So permaculture is where you want to go. We want to get it back to wild crafted type stuff, heirloom seeds, nature, multiple crops, not just monocrops. And we have to supplement today to replace that 85% that's missing.
So there are literally thousands of supplements on that. Thousands. People are confused. Can you help us to, determine which ones are good, which ones are bad, which ones are really necessary? You mentioned magnesium. So can you help with that big mess and confusion?
Yeah, I love talking about this. So this, I became a label reader on food items.
Yep.
And toothpaste and shampoos. And that's how I discovered all these chemicals, calling these companies up and grilling them. What's this natural flavors mean? What flavors are there in there? I found out by law, if you're on the label, it says natural flavors for 70 years, that could mean only 10% needs to be natural. 90% can be chemical. In almost all cases, it's that way because chemicals are cheaper than natural, right? So if you see natural flavors on your label, I wouldn't buy it. You're consuming a chemical. It's unscrupulous what they're doing, because you think, I just think of myself, like, what if I'm a young father or a young mother and I'm in there and I'm pulling something out for myself and my family, or I'm trying to get pregnant, or I have a young baby that I'm nursing or whatever, or I have young kids, and I look, it says natural flavors, and I'm thinking, oh, that's good for my kids.
Yeah.
And you put it in there and you're polluting your kids. You're destroying, you're adding to the body burden, right?
Yeah.
And it's everywhere. So through label reading, I found out all this stuff, and supplements was the same. And I got pretty ticked off about it. So anyway, here's how you have to understand the big picture. 85% of the supplements on the market are owned and manufactured and made for by pharmaceutical companies. Big Pharma's going to get you on those single molecule drugs, whether they're in pharma form or they're in, under Nature Boy form, wrapped in a label. There's still acid-based synthetics made in a laboratory, right? Yeah. Not carbon-based, whole foods or juice extracts or herbs, like, you're a master herbalist. So anyway, so what you're looking for, and you have to understand, in general, 92% of all the supplements on the market are synthetic acid-based chemicals. So you're left with about 8% that are whole food or food-based, but a lot of those have been corrupted too, because now they're like these 50-50 quasi mixes. You'll look at a supplement and you're like, oh, it's got reishi in it and chaga, and it's got a little probiotic here, but then there'll be synthetics in there and people don't know. So pull out your multivitamin. I'll show you how to read a label. If it says vitamin C and in parentheses behind it, ascorbic acid, that's a synthetic chemical, right? That's not from nature. What it should say in parentheses, this is how you know you're getting a whole food supplement. It should say from the Arceola cherry, or from the camu berry, or my favorite, from the amla berry or the gooseberry, because those are actually picked ripe.
Yeah.
Okay, now you have a whole food supplement. So what you want to make sure is that it's whole food or herbal supplement. Very hard to find. Now, if you find that, you also have to look at the other ingredients, because the other ingredients are also ingredients that you and your family are ingesting. So what you see on our labels, there's three main ones that we highlight in red on our labels. It says no magnesium stearate, no silicon dioxide, and no dicalcium phosphate. Most people don't even see that. What is that? But now that you have the awareness, you're going to see it on almost all your labels. And it's unfortunate. If you're taking magnesium stearate, it pretty much cancels out your ability to even absorb anything. And it could come from GMO corn or GMO soy. You don't know. You need to find out. High probability it is, right?
Yeah.
And it can come from diseased cow hides. It's pretty gross stuff. Silicon dioxide, as an example, is a level 3 toxin on the EPA's toxin list, yet it's allowed in most supplements. So why would they put this stuff in there? Well, let's say you and I want to develop a formula, and we come up with this really good whole food juice extract herbal formula. It's awesome. We send it off to the supplement lab to get manufactured, and they have an encapsulation machine. These silicon dioxide these are called excipients. They're binders, fillers, or flow agents. That's what an excipient is. Binders help to keep things together. The flow agents help the encapsulation machines from caking up, so its speed of production has nothing to do with your health. It's about making sure that the machines don't cake up so they can just keep producing stuff and making money. And it's unfortunate because there are other flow agents to use. We use non-GMO rice hulls. We can grind those up really tiny. Those become the flow agent, and guess what? Those are a great prebiotic or food for your gut bacteria. So why wouldn't you just do that? I mean, it's so silly to me. Again, it's cheaper, cost, whatever. They don't know. I don't know, right? So the point is that these binders, fillers, and flow agents, they're toxic. And here's another example. When you take an acid-based synthetic, it doesn't even fill up a capsule that much because it's just that's the way it is. Yeah. So they have to fill it up because Americans and Canadians. Wouldn't you if you bought some supplements and it was about a quarter full, wouldn't you be like, I want my money back? You would, wouldn't you?
You would.
So they fill that sucker up. That's what they do. They fill it up with a bunch of garbage, and then you and your family are consuming it because you didn't know and you want a full capsule.
Yeah,
that's why people are always like, why do you have to have 3 capsules as a serving with your products? I said, because you can only make nature so small. What we sell is concentrated food, concentrated herbs. 3 capsules is a standard dose for an adult. And you have to do that because again, but you see the opposite is a synthetic can't even fill in a lot of cases can't even fill up the damn capsule. So they have to fill it up with a filler. And those fillers aren't healthy. So that's the key. You have to read your labels. And if you're unsure, do some homework or don't buy it. It's just that and here's the story. Okay. Just to illustrate it. There's this lady and she has a 16-year-old daughter, and her daughter's friend come over to the house. And her mom happened to be like the state champion brownie recipe, right? She's got the best brownies in the state. And she was actually making some of those brownies right then and there. And the girls walked in. They're like, Mom, guess what? There's this new movie in town and everybody went to it. It's amazing. And we want to go. And me and my friend want to go. And she knew what her mom's first question was. Well, what's it rated? She's like, well, I knew you were going to ask, but it's rated R. But it should be rated PG-13 because there's only one cuss word and there's only one brief scene of nudity. Like this guy runs by the screen really fast and you only see like one butt cheek. I mean, I already pretty much know what's going to happen. It's a great movie. My friend, I want to go, please, please. And her mom's like, okay, you can go. And she couldn't believe it because her mom would never let her do that. And she said, but under one condition, you can go. And then she's like, oh, I knew it. It was going to be some insurmountable thing, so she wouldn't be able to go. And she's like, no, you and your friend have to have one of my brownies before you go. And they looked at each other kind of puzzled and like, okay. And they're like, woohoo, because they wanted one anyway. And then they just started to take a bite. And her mom said, hold on a second. Before you eat those, I want to tell you something. This recipe is exactly the same, except I put one extra ingredient in there. Now, you won't taste it. You won't even know it's in there. You can't see it. It's you won't even know. And they're like, well, what is it? And she's like, well, I put in just a little tiny bit, not much. Again, you won't see it. You won't taste it, but not much. But it's just a little tiny bit of cat poop. And the girls threw the brownies down. They're like, oh, my God, this is disgusting. We're not going to eat that. And she said, that's exactly why you're not going to go to that movie. Because of that cuss word and that brief scene of nudity, that whole movie has been tainted, and it's not something that a 16-year-old girl needs to go see. The moral of the story here is that that's just a movie, right? We're talking about putting something into your mouth. And again, we're digesting things all the time. We're digesting information. We're digesting the water, the air, the food, everything. So I guess they're kind of equivalent. But the point is that what's more sacred than what goes in your mouth, right? And I would rather have some cat poop in a brownie than I would have silicon dioxide in my supplements, right? It's not just what the ingredients are. It's the other ingredients because they're still ingredients.
Good point here. Thank you for bringing those points to us. It reminds me of studies that I've seen over the years. I'm sure you've come across the same, showing that people can get hurt taking different vitamins, different supplements. And I was reading a report actually, I believe it was from the CDC, showing that about 20, they estimated that 20-25% of people going to the ER having liver problems was because of supplements or something they took, and they had no idea what they took. So you have to be really, really, really careful, like you said, before taking any supplement. And if you're not sure, just don't take anything.
Yeah, Serge, before I was even in this industry, I was a mortgage broker and I was doing a loan for a guy. I was out at his house checking on his property, and he was in the porta potty business. And we were just talking about stuff. He goes, "Oh yeah, check this out." And he was like washing out this porta potty on this grate. And I looked down there and you could see all these supplements. They weren't even digested at all. And you could like see like Centrum on them and stuff like that. So a lot of
Oh,
people are buying stuff that
yes,
they don't even open up. I mean, they just go through you. So
yes,
you're paying for stuff that you're getting no benefit from, and a lot of them you're putting amounts of toxins in your body. It's just stupid. So that's just the way it is. So we have to get educated and just understand that our buying dollars are the true vote out there today. So
yeah,
once you get, we like to bring the awareness to this,
yeah,
and there's a few companies out there that also do some of their products like we do, but it's few and far between. But my goal is not only to help provide good products for people, but to change the whole industry. And I've already helped probably a dozen other companies either get started in this industry or change their practices and get cleaner like ours. So eventually, maybe before I die, if I can, turn the whole industry around or 25% of it, maybe I've made a difference.
awesome. Thank you for doing that. That's really important, actually. So we have established that even though you may eat organic foods, clean food, you need to supplement. You have to use whole foods, organic, chemical-free
Mhm.
supplements. But what are the major ones that we really need to take every day in order to help our bodies?
Well, since we're in the age of COVID, I think I would, let's just talk about some of the big ones. Like vitamin A is very important. You can
Yeah,
also get that from green leafy vegetables. That is literally building your cell wall and strengthening your cell wall so viruses can't get in. Vitamin C is awesome because it works like a shock absorber. So a lot of people are talking about, you get that cytokine storm, right, from spike proteins, and
yeah,
you also get it from pneumonia and the colds. Coronavirus is a common cold. It's just a little bit different. So that's a really good. Think about it. When the sailors were sick, they said they had a disease called scurvy. It wasn't a disease. It was a vitamin C deficiency. Okay,
yeah,
pretty simple.
yeah.
Um, so vitamin C, vitamin D is very important. Getting outside and getting sunshine. If you're in Canada and and you're not going to be getting sunshine like you need it, especially if you're from like Africa. If you have dark colored skin, you need 15 times more sunshine than guys like Serge and myself.
Yeah.
So this whole lockdown thing and don't look at the sun and don't talk to your neighbors and don't go outside. That is a death sentence for people of dark skin. It's really bad. So I would just, that is disgusting what they've done with that whole thing. It's really interesting too, because the homeless people that are outside all the time, they're not getting COVID. They're not getting sick at all. They're getting vitamin
Interesting, isn't
D.
it?
They're getting tons of vitamin D, right?
Yeah,
Natural immunity. It's actually a hormone. It's not even a vitamin,
yeah,
but it's inaccurately categorized. So, that's important. Zinc, again, that is important because that actually stops the viruses from replicating. You just have to make sure that you have to take something like quercetin to get it transported into the cell. These are bioflavonoids. You can also get those from other foods to do that. So if you're eating a natural, organic, diverse food, you're going to be getting all this stuff in. And
yeah.
but a lot of people aren't. Like I said, it's deficient. So, and you're not getting sunshine. So this is a good time to supplement. um these are important. So these are the things that most people can relate to, it makes sense to. But to go deeper, there's things that are even more important than just vitamins, minerals, and trace minerals, and that's hormones, oxygen, phytochemicals, and enzymes. The
Yeah.
HOPE, great acronym, right? This you can get from living foods. So if you want to take your health and your nutrient levels up another level or two or 10, you start sprouting in your home. And you can sprout 365 days a year. You could start sprouting lentils and mung beans, and there's something called fenugreek. Those
Yeah.
are all ready in 2.5 days, like literally in glass jars, no soil required. If you want to take it a little bit farther, you could start sprouting alfalfa sprouts, and red clover. Those are the easiest. If you want to spike them with a little radish sprouts, those are pretty spicy, or make broccoli sprouts, which are really good. The broccoli sprouts get a little tangly, so I always only put about a third of the broccoli in with 2/3 red clover or 2/3 alfalfa, just so they don't tangle up so much. Those take about 7 to 9 days. You can do those in a glass gallon jar, no dirt required. There's just a lot you can do. Then we also sprout sunflower, pea sprouts, buckwheat, lettuce, wheatgrass. We do those in trays, 17 by 17 inch trays in the house, with a little soil. But I have a podcast called the Health Hero Show, and I can't remember which episode it is, but it was like, it's how sprouting can increase your nutrition up to 800%. So if you want to learn how to sprout, I did about an hour and a half on how to go through sprouting and how to do it in your home and create your own, pharmacy, basically FARM pharmacy in your house. And we're talking about massive amounts of nutrition here. Just the phytochemicals in wheatgrass alone are unbelievable. Like Oregon State University here in Oregon is one of the top phytochemical or plant nutrient researching places in the world. And in 2012, I think it was, or 2012, they had discovered like 70,000 phytochemicals. What are these? These are plant chemicals or plant nutrients that have the ability to prevent and reverse disease. There was 70,000. 2 years later, in 2014, they were up to 74,000 and counting. They keep finding more. There might be hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of these microscopic chemicals, nutrients in plants that are living. And that's the key thing. It's living. Once you cook it, all that goes bye-bye. It's all gone. It's all gone. So we have to have a large percentage of our food uncooked and unprocessed, and even better, living foods. So we're actually capturing electrons. So this is a much bigger topic. We could talk about it if you want to, biophotons, and which is pretty cool actually, but and charging the cells, but it's up to you.
That's another interesting topic. You will have to come back to talk about that, because this is amazing topic actually. It's really exciting to talk about that. You have a website, right?
Yes. Yeah. The website is chemicalfreebody.com. That's
Okay.
chemicalfreebody.com. And if people would like to try our detox and nutrition products, I always tell them, just go to the products tab, scroll down, click on the savings bundle so they can get a discount. And then you can get like a jumpstart bundle to get kicked off. Or I do the total energy and detox bundle myself. Plus I take our liquid turmeric 100 product. And then if they put Surge, SERGE in the shopping cart or at checkout, they get a double discount. And we have a double your money back guarantee on all of our products. And if they want more free information, they can listen to me on my podcast, The Health Hero Show. That's on the website, or on, pretty much anywhere you consume podcast content, Spotify, SoundCloud, all those places. We post it everywhere.
Awesome, man. Tim, you're gonna have to come back. It's been almost 40 minutes already. That was a really good topic. And as a final note, anything you want to say to help
Yeah,
people?
I say it pretty much every time. Put yourself first. Don't wait around for somebody else to heal you. You have to do it yourself. And my girlfriend Rebecca was telling me about the word responsible. It's having the ability to respond, right? It's pretty powerful when you break it down. So, our country, both countries, United States and Canada, all over the world, we've been taught by elites, people that think they're better than us, that you're dumb, you don't know what you're doing, listen to us. And they create these organizations, and they create these words like when my friend got diagnosed with blood cancer, chronic lymphocytic leukemia, I felt little and stupid because I couldn't even pronounce that. It took me like 3 months to be able to say it right. I'm a good, hard-working, decent person, but I don't understand all that lingo, and it makes you feel stupid. So you got to hand your power over to somebody else that understands the lingo. But the reality is that these doctors, they're the good boys and girls in the equation, but the system's broken. They can't help you. If it's an emergency room situation, you get a gunshot or a car accident, they can help you big time, and they are heroes.
Yeah.
But when it comes to helping you with chronic disease, they fail miserably because they don't understand how the body works. They don't. How can you take a carbon-based body? And I can guarantee you, if you're really sick and you have cancer, you don't have a chemo deficiency. Guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way that's possible. And if you're sick, why would you put something in your body that would tear down your immune system? Wouldn't you think you want to build up your immune system so your body could heal itself just like it does when you cut your finger? Yeah. How does your body heal itself when you cut your finger? It has an innate capacity to do so. It's called your immune system. It's your best friend. And all you have to do is get all the man-made crap out of the body, sweep it out, clean out the gut, flood the body with nature, boost your immune system, and your immune system will heal you too.
Well said. Well said. Diet, nutrition, helping your stress, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So thank you, Tim, for your time. I know you're a busy person, and if you guys want to know more, go to his website. He does have a really good product. Thank you. You will have to come back again.
Absolutely, my friend.
Awesome. Take care.
Bye-bye.